Sparks that I don't remember. Hold and let it shine. Fix and start to fade away. Fix and start to fade away. Fix and start to fade away.
Hello, dear friends of Kabbalah International. We are once again here with Mario Sabán.
How are you, Nacho? Good morning.
All right. Excellent. Today we are going to talk about the sefirah of TIFERET from the Tree of Life, which is linked to self-esteem. I wanted to start with Leviticus 19:18, which is, love your neighbor as yourself. And why did I think of starting with Leviticus yesterday while I was reviewing the topics? Because the love for ourselves conditions our relationship with others. From there, the process of self-esteem is built, and we establish that connection with our environment.
Well, there is a paradox in this dimension that doesn't exist in other dimensions, and that is that low self-esteem is low self-esteem, and high self-esteem is low self-esteem. If we have a self-esteem issue, either the self-esteem is balanced or consistently low. There is no high self-esteem, there is correct self-esteem.
Of course.
So to reach that correct self-esteem, one has to acknowledge their own merits. Consequently, here we have another problem because there are certain parts of the culture that many times we are compelled by the cultural paradigm we live in not to recognize our merits or even to avoid acknowledging them, because many people perceive such recognition as selfishness, egoism. They say, well, if I acknowledge my merit, that's ego, right? They bring ego into a matter that has nothing to do with ego here. In TIFERET, the construction of the self takes place. So why should I love myself? It is clear initially because to love others, I have to do it equivalently, as Leviticus states. If I love others less than myself, it is precisely one of the klipot in TIFERET, boasting narcissism. The narcissist loves himself much more than others. But well, he loves himself more than others, because he doesn't truly value himself. That's why he loves himself so much. There is an imbalance. For this reason, in Kabbalah we say that both high narcissistic self-esteem and low self-esteem are consistently low in both cases. Now, how do we reach correct self-esteem? First, understand that in TIFERET there are several intriguing virtues, with the first among them being independence. Achieving independence is very difficult, because independence is when criticism and praise do not affect you. In other words, independence is loving without emotional dependence, and here we encounter another issue. Many people confuse love with emotional dependence. And emotional dependence is highly dangerous. Saying I can't live without you poses a problem. In other words, we must love others, but we must also love ourselves because in some way we need to maintain that equivalence. Therefore, if we love the other more than ourselves, the only exception that Kabbalists pose regarding this matter is with children, which is generally the most imbalanced relationship, because parents usually love their children more than themselves. That would be the exception to this dimension. But in all other relationships, all equivalences, not in terms of giving and receiving, because they are not metric equivalences that can be measured, but equivalences of inner experience. In other words, in my inner experience, if I love myself correctly, I am also loving others correctly. If I love others incorrectly, I will go through what is called a process of idealizing the other, and in the process on a higher level. So I don't have to idealize the other. I have to see them with their virtues and flaws, but I also have to see myself with my virtues and flaws. Compassion for my flaws, because these are opportunities for improvement, in the sense that it gives me a chance to work on my tikkun, to work on my rectification. However, merit and recognition for my virtues to enhance them. In other words, we have been in the spiritual world in an imbalance in this dimension. People always say, my imbalances are a great opportunity. My imbalances are a great opportunity. And everyone today is, from all sides, praising imbalances as a great opportunity, which is correct. But why aren't virtues praised as a great opportunity? Because in virtues, we have the opportunity to develop the potential of those virtues. It's as if with virtues, well, I already have them, I can go to sleep, and the only things that challenge me are transgressions and imbalances. And it's not like that.
Work on imbalances and enhance and exalt virtues.
Absolutely, but be careful with the term exalt. Why do I say this? Because we don't exalt virtues, we recognize them. Narcissism exalts them or glorifies them, which is boasting. We acknowledge virtues. We don't exalt ourselves through virtues, because if I exalt myself in virtues, I might introduce ego in the exaltation. But there is no ego in recognition, so I acknowledge my virtues to enhance them. Now, if I don't have this part of recognizing my virtues and always obsess over imbalances, virtues won't help me correct the imbalances. In other words, in this dualism that I am presenting, virtues not only serve me to enhance virtues, but virtues also help me correct imbalances. They have to come to aid in correcting imbalances. Therefore, recognition of our virtues. This is a fundamental topic. Enhancing virtues is also a work of tikkun. It is also a work of rectification, not only rectifying imbalances.
About what you were saying, there may be, paradoxically, a moment in which a certain exaltation of some kind of virtue can serve as a defense mechanism. For example, in the relationship that can exist between Tiferet and Bina. With respect to Bina, for example, as the maternal figure, who tells you that you will never be able to do this, you will never achieve this, and where Tiferet has to defend herself to be able to position herself concerning her self-esteem.
From the soul's perspective, Bina first symbolically has that external maternal function because it is the external mother. It is the maternal function. It could be the grandmother, the mother, the father. We talk about the maternal function, the literal form. That maternal function should stimulate me, not block me. But in case that external maternal function blocks me, in principle, if it plays the role of the external maternal function because someone is educating us. But then we have to conquer Bina. The Bina we have inside us and assume the maternal function of self-stimulation. At some point, that blocking maternal function, as you are presenting it to Bina, I try to explain again that Bina should be a stimulating factor, not a blocking one, but not in all cases is it stimulating, because sometimes there are counterproductive maternal functions, but they serve us because they put us in adversity, so it also makes us grow. But we have to go conquer Bina. So we have like two types of Bina. One Bina is when we grow up, where someone in the exterior has the maternal function, which can stimulate us or not stimulate us, or block us, who takes the maternal function literally. The other is us in our Bina, where we have to go conquer the maternal function and self-stimulate. There are many people, Nacho, who tell me, well, my mother always told me you can't or you won't make it. Well, she tells you that until a certain point. Then there's your inner mother, Bina, where you say I can and I can make it. That is, at some point, one has to conquer the dimension of the inner maternal function that one has, and one has to manage to be the mother of oneself.
Reflecting yesterday about self-esteem, I was interested in asking you if you believe that there is a relationship between self-esteem and true identity. That is to say, if a balanced self-esteem has a deep connection with our true identity.
Absolutely, because correct self-esteem is achieved with radical honesty. Now I want to explain what radical honesty is, because otherwise we might make a mistake. People sometimes understand honesty socially because I may seem honest to others, but I can appear honest to others and not be honest with myself. So when I talk about radical honesty, it's not the image of social honesty that one wants to project outwardly. It's the honesty that one has to achieve within oneself, knowing deeply who one is on the inside, not how others see them on the outside. People often take care to be honest in the external image, to be seen as honest. Many people work to be seen as honest. There may be very dishonest people on the inside whom you see as very honest on the outside, which is not wrong. The person should be honest on the outside too. We are not negating real external honesty, but internal honesty is much tougher. It's like, look, this is what it is. Laugh at yourself. Look deeply at yourself, and you will get closer to the neshama, to that part of the soul that constitutes your own identity. So, a job of radical honesty is a very therapeutic job. It reduces imbalances a lot. Tiferet is a dimension that is connected by most channels with the rest of the dimensions. It has the most channels. 8 channels come out of Tiferet. This means that, from the point of view of interconnection with the entire tree, it is fundamental. If you have an imbalance in self-esteem, imbalances appear almost all over the tree. Because an imbalance in self-esteem makes you perhaps want more power or want more control, or you have less compassion. This practically affects the whole structure. For that reason, one must raise self-esteem. One can raise self-esteem within the recognition of imperfection. In other words, I raise my self-esteem to a certain limit. That is, I cannot reach the level of self-demand beyond what is normal for a human being. That is, there is a level where I cannot reach, where I do not reach temporarily. It may be that within a year I can pass this level, but today I have to integrate what I am. Whoever knows they have correct self-esteem is the one who has an internal pass. The one with an internal pass has correct self-esteem. Inner peace. That is not modified by anything from the outside. Be careful, because here we enter a terrain of a very high level of consciousness. In other words, you can respond to external stimuli, whether positive or negative, and simultaneously maintain your internal pass. The one who lacks inner peace and has low self-esteem has reactive systems, not active systems. They have constant reactions as if they are defending themselves at all times. There is nothing to defend. What you have to do is learn. When someone is defending, he already has low self-esteem.
Thank you very much, Mario.
A hug, Nacho?